All right, good evening, everybody. Hey, it's August 24th. My name is Craig Smith. I get to host this exciting business Q&A. And if you're in the chat room, if you just joined, or if you're watching the recording later and wondering why people are typing Spider-Man and Wonder Woman, well, before we hit record, we were having a little bit of fun. I don't know how I said you could ask any question tonight, even if what's your favorite superhero movie. So I derailed us right from the beginning. But this is a really fascinating call. We do have our CEO, founder, Mr. Sam Castor with us. We have our head of global marketing, Mr. Bill Kendall, and of course, our head trainer, Kristi McGowan. So tonight's concept is to ask any question, and this helps two areas. One, for you to grow your understanding, your knowledge, your belief on the leaders really driving the direction of the company, as well as it really also helps if you are a guest. Maybe you want to learn a little bit more and understand, what is the direction and where is the company going with everything that they've done. And I'm going to actually start off with a couple questions that have come in, but I will share with you how you can ask questions tonight. So you can use the chat room. The more fun you have in the chat room, the better. So when you do send messages, let us know where you're dialing in from. Make sure it says to everybody so everybody can see the question, because it may spark another question they have. And you can do that in the chat room. But the way you ask a question is you'll see on your Zoom, there's a little three dots that says more. If you click on that, you'll see Q&A. So you want to go ahead and click on the Q&A. That's where we're going to send in those questions. So I think that's a great way to get started. We got a bunch of questions already in, so that is fantastic. So let's start off with this one just kind of set the tone for each one of you. And you can answer this kind of in this is a short 60-second answer for each one of you. This is a big loaded question, but what excites each one of you most about where Alovea is today and where we're going to be 3 years from now? Sam, you got to kick it off tonight.
Okay. What excites me about where we're at and where we're going to be in 3 years? Well, first of all, you have to lay a foundation, and that's what we've been doing for the last several years. And a foundation is not easy. It's tedious. There's a lot of work involved. But what's happening as a result of what you guys are doing out in the field is we've been getting some unbelievable exposure as a company and as an entity. And more to come on that, because I'm not ready to share that yet, but there's just some incredible things going on. I met today with a lady that runs Charisma, which is the rehab center the Foxes built in San Miguel. And she had a whole new strategy for how to sponsor kids down there that we talked through and how that might be implemented into our company. And so I think we're about to take one giant step forward this year. 3 years from now, I don't think you'll recognize us. We're going to be completely different than where we are today, because momentum begets momentum. And as more and more people find out about who we are and what we do and how effective we are at doing it, it just takes on a life of its own, and you can't stop it. So we spent the first 6 years building infrastructure. We spent the first 2 years getting past COVID, and then the next 4 years building infrastructure out so that we can facilitate what's coming. So I'm excited about what's coming.
Well, that's a fantastic way to start. And for Bill and Kristi, because he's the CEO, he can go past the minute. He can do it. I mean, there's no time limit on Sam.
Did I go past the minute?
No, you were 72 seconds. But I was not counting. I was not counting. Bill, you go. Let's go with Bill next.
Oh, sure. And that was actually short for Sam. 72 seconds.
That was great.
No, I think absolutely. I think we're right at that precipice where things do change and start to change much faster. We have a lot to do to get our infrastructure built, and a lot for what we want to do going forward, products, everything, and that takes time and effort, and a team, putting a team together, the people that we have now, the people we have in the field, the people we have in corporate, and finally it's all gelling and coming together, and you just feel it in the company. So I think we are just at that point right now today. In 3 years, I think it will be an exciting ride for those 3 years.
Yeah.
but I'm ready for it. I'm anxious to get going.
Oh,
And I think you'll still know who we are, but yeah, I think we'll be a lot different in 3 years. Yeah.
oh, that does kind of get like little chills there. That's exciting. Kristi, how are you answering that question to kick off this call?
Well, a little bit of what Sam and Bill both said. I mean, one of the things that I think is pretty incredible is the foundation that has already been laid. And we've talked sometimes about the fact that we've done some things that most bigger companies don't even do, like for where we are right now with the number of countries that we're in, the preparation that has happened in advance for growth to be able to be substantial and to move quickly. And then for me, what gets me excited is the fact that there's more leaders that are rising up than ever before. Not only people attending events, but people rank advancing, which is leadership growth. That means people only rank advance if there's a leader helping them grow and helping them reach their goals. And so to have the kind of growth that we're being prepared for, know that is coming, it takes a whole bunch of leaders that are serving with love in the center of everything that we do. And I see that happening, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's beautiful. Excellent. Well, you all get 10 out of 10 stars on our kickoff call, kickoff question. Not that we're rating and not that there's going to be a score list at the end of this. We do have incentive boards, but not for tonight's call. But for everybody listening in, by the way, we have a bunch of people who have just joined. If you do have any questions tonight, this is an open Q&A. You can go ahead and post your question in the chat. This next one's for Sam. This is like super interesting how this was worded. And I think how Sam answers this, if you are a social business partner, I'm intrigued to see how Sam answers this. So it's a great way for us to learn how we can respond to this question or a somewhat like-minded question. And if you're a guest here tonight, I think this really defines what makes Alovea so different. But Sam, this question's for you directly. What makes Alovea business opportunity meaningfully different from other relationship-based business models?
Yeah, well, number one, the fact that we're a social entrepreneurial organization is by far the most distinctive thing about us. And what that means is that everything we do translates to our mission. So every time somebody buys the product from us, we donate a 30-day supply or 28-day supply to a child in need. Number of servings in your product is matched by the number of servings that we donate. I think I've said this before, but for people who want their life's work to account for more than just a paycheck, you need to check this out. Because that really is the biggest distinction is that we have a mission that is tied directly to the success of our company. I think if I had to say secondly, what's the most distinctive thing is you can't build a sustainable model in social entrepreneurship without proprietary, efficacious technology. In other words, people have to see that their life has changed, and they have to know that you're the only or the exclusive provider of that change. And those are two real key components that distinguish us from almost everybody in this marketplace. Is we are social entrepreneurs, and we have technologies that lead sort of the functional medicine movement, and they're proprietary and unique to us. That's two huge components.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. And I think it's a great reminder for us when we get asked that question. It's what makes us so unique. I'm going to go to a question for Kristi, and then I've got a question here from Lisa that I'm going to kind of dive into next, but I found this one really kind of interesting. What do people who consistently grow successful Alovea businesses do differently? So what do the people who build consistently grow successfully, what do they do differently?
Well, I think there was a key word already in there, and that's consistently. It's really about doing the small things great over time and being consistent. I think that's one of the difficult things is sometimes it takes a while to see that momentum, but a lot of people tend to become discouraged and stop. And then when you do the stop-start thing, you're starting all over again. So you never actually gain momentum that makes a difference. And so if you were at Inspire, you heard Libby Taylor's story of even doing this one small thing great over time. And she had committed to it actually since Impact in the 2040K group that she's a part of. And as a result, that consistency over time led to her biggest paycheck in the 29 years that she has been involved in this industry. And so that consistency beyond anything else, I would say that the second thing is communication and staying plugged in, staying involved with your team and with the corporate team and the people that you are impacting. But consistency is the biggest key.
That's a great word. It's so true how that's like comes across in almost everything from a business perspective. All right, Bill, this one's for you. Went to each one of you guys, and then I've got some questions, some great questions that are starting to roll in. I think we're up to 8 questions now, so we've got 9 questions now. So this one is about tools. So what role will tools, digital marketing, storytelling through social media play in the company's stage of growth moving forward?
Oh, what role? They will be front and foremost. Absolutely. All our plans are built around our tools, and we have already put in place quite a few. The app, we've been able to make a lot of tools available to people through social media graphics and through our white papers, fact sheets, imagery, videos. There's quite a bit already out there, but going forward, there's going to be quite a few more. And what I'd like to bring out is more of a way to share them easier. So as we go, we're going to be building in a better way to share the opportunity here, share the products, and make it business. So it is much more just a part of what you do instead of having to learn something really difficult and go through all that. So yeah, going forward, there will be a lot of new things coming through, and a lot of the same things. Just add to that list of information that everybody really wants on the products to share out, and videos of Steve and Sam and Kristi and everybody, giving trainings and giving product trainings. So yeah, we're definitely planning on quite a few things coming and building out.
Nice. Yeah. And even kind of a unique, different tool is even the email communication. I know I was on a call with you and Kristi and Sam, and really advancing and building our whole email marketing strategy. So there's a lot of unique ways coming that I think is going to be exciting. Here's from Cheryl and Nancy. I'm going to ask it combined. Kristi, I think you can jump into both these. One is, should I have a person sign up as a customer or as an affiliate when their first order? And then the follow-up, it's like totally different question. So people know we do leadership calls to help people become better at being a social business partner, how they can grow personally and professionally. So one question is, when are the 5 and 10Ks coming back? Which is so funny because, actually it's from Lisa. You just said the other day that call's not happening. It wasn't happening for a few weeks. So it's funny that question comes in. So both of those are for you, Kristi.
That's good. Well, the most important way to always start a brand new person is whatever way they want to start. I mean, that's first and foremost. Now, there are some definite things, and as a customer or affiliate is a better decision than a social business partner unless they say immediately that they want to build a business. And the reason for that is we don't want them to start their clock ticking to get to team builder if they have no intent in sharing and building. So customer and affiliate is really going to be based on the decision that's best for them. It's interesting because people take different approaches on this, and I don't really think that there's a wrong answer on that. It really is, again, what's best for people. Sometimes people say, hey, if you're ever interested in doing what I do, affiliate's a great place to start. It's somebody who just shares the results they're getting and can share products and keep it super simple like that. Affiliate doesn't cost anything, neither does customer. So they're almost one and the same. They're very, very similar. Technically, and when someone chooses to be an affiliate, because of the direction they do want to share, that's really different. So that's somebody that is sharing like their discount code. They may be an influencer. They may just be someone that doesn't want to build teams of teams. So affiliate is an option for people that want to earn income but don't want to build teams of teams. So hopefully, Cheryl, that answers your question a little bit. Again, it's still always going to be best for the person that's getting started. One of the things that we want to make sure we do is not overcomplicate someone that they have to make too many decisions to get started. So for me personally, I like customer first because we can always upgrade somebody from there however they want to get started. but we definitely love to plant seeds of what's possible moving forward. And then, like you said, we do have a bunch of different calls that we do for leadership development and growth. We did put the 5-10K on hold just for a little bit because we're working on a bunch of other things and some key growth areas. But I want to encourage everybody to make sure you're not only getting on Saturday training calls with Craig and I, or sometimes it's just Craig or sometimes it's just me. Most of the time it's both of us, but also on the Tuesday Love Zooms. So if you're really anxious for the 5-10K Zooms to come back, make sure you're hopping on those Love Zooms because there's a lot of training that we do very specific. And throughout this month, we're going to carry what we're doing on Saturday Zooms into the Love Zooms, and I'm going to be having a lot of guests over the next few months on there with me too.
Nice. Yeah, those are fantastic calls to plug into. Sam, this is one for you. This is going to be an interesting one how you answer, because I think what people in today's world, of course, people want, they want everything now, right? You know, everybody wants everything quickly and right away, and managing and running a business that you now headed up. You know, you've built a business and you've had this experience in the past, but you built a business that's now in 24, 25 countries around the world, tens and tens and tens of thousands of customers. You've got tons of social business partners who are sharing and growing the movement. But we talk very freely in this company. But you have a lot of access to the CEO, which a lot of companies you don't. So we talk about things we're doing in the future. So people want the responses quickly. So, you know, this is a question: is what is the plan for a significant growth that is growth that is happening? Wait, what is the plan for the significant growth that is happening, specifically regarding production and delivery in a timely manner? So I think what they're trying to ask is, like, you know, how can you, you know, when can we announce these kind of things, right?
Well, and I think it also sounds a little bit like, how do you keep up with growth? You know, what's your plan for doing that? You know, there's a lot of things that factor into this. Right now, most of our Europe, we have a distribution center in Europe, and some of you have seen Hannes on the calls before, Hannes Meyer. He is our general manager in Europe. So that's a standalone business over there. I mean, it's all integrated together, but in some of the rest of the world, we just have a website and we ship product from the United States to people that come on and order on those websites, whether it's Australia or New Zealand or Singapore or Japan or whatever. Part of the growth has to be, we have to establish ourselves in those countries in a more permanent way. And that could be like what we're doing with Hannes. That's kind of a very innovative way. I mean, take me, for instance. When I built my first company, we had a headquarters. You know, it was like 250,000 square feet and, you know, employees everywhere. And it was just the way you did it 20, 30 years ago. Today, I'm in my office. I'm at home, you know, and we outsource everything. And so we can run a country really with a country manager. We don't have to have a facility necessarily that we invest, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in building out. And so I think everything has changed in regards to how we can expand quickly to meet the demand. So that's one thing. International expansion, I think, is a much easier road than it was 30 years ago. Just finding the right person in each part of the world to manage the business there and to run a customer service group. It can even be outsourced also, just like we do here. When I say outsourced, I mean our customer service all work for the company, but they work from home. So we don't have a building. I think the second thing is, you know, all of our raw material suppliers know what our capacity could be. You know, we don't buy raw materials that are just isolated and you can only get a little bit of. You know, we find raw materials that we can buy in quantity. And I'm talking about the things that we build our products with. You know, the key components like the aloe, like the betalains from the beet, like the cyclodextrin fish oil, those are technologies that we have associations with the founders that created and patented those technologies, or they live under a trade secret. And they know exactly what our plans are. And we look at indicators with them all the time on what growth might look like. We've got an exciting, we talked about it a little bit in Brands, an exciting opportunity coming up at the end of the year that will multiply the amount of Ace Manning that we're going to have next year. And it's really a donation that's coming in to Manna Relief. Well, we've already had lots of discussions with Dr. Rodriguez about that. From a supply standpoint. So, the first time through that menagerie, it was exciting, but somewhat tenuous because you really didn't know what could happen. This time through, we're pretty prepared because we've seen it before, we've experienced it before, and now, because of technology, it's just a lot easier. I think I answered the question. If I didn't, ask it again.
Okay, great. Well, excellent. Well, and where did I have that question? This next one I actually had for Bill. This is an interesting one because we just met with Team Europe, and I know what you and some of the team are doing with new advanced technology around AI and different things. So this question is, are there plans, timelines to create product information in all other languages?
Yes. Simple answer. Yes, definitely. We're looking at a lot of different ways of doing that. I have a lot of experience in translating and opening different countries. And AI is wonderful. It's amazing what it can do. Translations are a part of that, and they're very good, but they're not perfect. And unfortunately, they've just not perfected that way of making a translation be exact, especially into Asian languages like Japanese and others. So we do have plans to do all that, but we're also looking at physical assets around that, people that can proof that work, that can make sure that our translations are right. So we're not rushing into it to do quite a bit of it yet. We're putting a lot of, again, that foundation together so that we have all the assets we need, that when we start putting its quality information, and it's not just run through some Google, translator, and it kind of fits what we're trying to say. Because the other part of that is what we have to say is very unique. We're not selling vacuums or toasters. Our products need a very particular way of being discussed and communicated. And in translations, that can get lost very quickly. It comes out like we're selling toasters. So, I learned the hard way on that. I've had a lot of people call me on translations and say, what are you trying to say? This makes zero sense. So, you have to get it right. So, yeah, we are definitely doing that. It's already in work. We're working a lot right now, especially with Japan, because, again, that is one of the hardest to translate over. Europe has already been doing quite a bit of that and working quite a bit of the material already translated. So their problem is just that they're open in more than there's at least 3 or 4 languages that they're dealing with. It's not just one. So their issue is compounded. So but we have a lot of plans for them.
Nice. Well, first of all, I didn't know you had, Japan was a challenge. I'm fluent in Japanese, so if you need help, just call me anytime, okay?
Well, you're supposed to
Wait,
put that down.
why are
We're
Sam and
supposed to
Kristi
know it.
laughing? Why? I mean, I feel like they're not believing that, considering I can barely speak English. Okay, this one's for Kristi. So this is from an anonymous attendee. I love that. So from an SB for social business partners. So for those that are guests, maybe here tonight or listening to the recording, if we join the company, you can join as a customer, as an affiliate. We have a pros program for coaches, trainers, athletes, and healthcare professionals. And of course, we have our social business partners, which help grow the expansion around the world. But for an SVP and we call them SVPs, that are in more isolated markets and are not surrounded by active teams, what are ideas and suggestions that you may have to increase the broader engagement? Coming to the events is obviously a great one, but other than just the events, is there any other ideas that you would have, Kristi?
Yeah, it's good. One of them for sure is making sure you're on every single Zoom, because, and especially doing the best you can to be on live, because it's very different when you're on live, because you get to engage in the chat. You feel more like you are in a room full of people than just watching the replay. So as best as you can doing that to begin with. But then I would also try the best you can to flip the script on feeling discouraged about it, and be excited about the fact that you're pioneering an area for Alovea and you're looking for people to join you. And I know that can be challenging at times, but it also is an exciting opportunity for you to take a territory for this mission. And so have those conversations with people that you would love to have join you on your team and in this mission. Like, be very direct in those conversations. I'm kind of all by myself here in this area, and we're pioneering this mission. And, you are exactly the person that I would love to do this with. And here's what it looks like to build a team together. And here's why I think you would be a perfect fit. So really, really having those conversations. The worst that can happen is someone says no, but the best thing that happens is, very least, it usually plants a seed of someone watching you with that word we said before, being consistent, right? Being consistent. And so just be careful that doesn't become a discouragement for you, but actually becomes a challenge, and something that you're excited to invite people to be a part of being first in your area with you.
Nice. That is beautiful. This is going over to Sam. By the way, Wendy asked the question, Wendee, and I tried to answer it by typing, and I clicked the wrong answer. So I have answered a couple questions because we won't be able to get to all of them tonight. But Wendy, if you email team@aloveapros.com, we can answer all of those. So if you would like to email team@aloveapros, we can definitely help you out with those questions. Sam, this one's for you. This is an interesting one. As Alovea grows, what will remain non-negotiable about its culture, leadership, and mission? Ooh.
Okay, number one non-negotiable is we made a covenant when we bought Evolve Health and transferred their assets into Alovea back in 2020, that we would remain a debt-free company. That's actually, there's a lot of times when borrowing money for expansion would be a handy thing to be able to do. For expansion, of your business internationally, or bringing on new products that you have to buy up front. But we sort of made that covenant that we would be a debt-free company, and that's just non-negotiable. Well, we won't do that. In my first company, at the end of 6 years, which is about where we're at right now, we actually took the company public to raise enough money to go international in those days. And the good news is we raised millions and millions of dollars. The bad news is that we lost control of the culture of the company through that move. And so we will never go public. We will never go in debt. We will always do buy one, give one, regardless of what it looks like out there, because that is what this is all about. That's why we created this opportunity. And we will always have the most unique, efficacious products that fit into this incredible market of functional medicine, integrative health, whatever you want to call it, that 70% of the people in the world today are looking for solutions from. And so we'll be the premier provider of the most proprietary and efficacious technologies. We will not be in debt, and we will always do the buy one, give one.
Perfect. You got a big love heart symbol from Shirley. She liked that answer. So we'll give that one 10 out of 10. That was, and that's what I think why people want to be here. They want to know what the leadership's commitment is. And to me, that's the kind of thing you want to invest in, you want to be part of when you are show up like that. So thank you, Sam, for that amazing answer.
Sure.
Here's one that actually I think both, now I see a whole lot of hearts coming in, and blessings. Kristi and Bill, you guys can both kind of tackle this one. We'll just ask a couple more, so we won't get to everybody tonight. So if you are putting in more questions, but feel free to add them, because then that will help us be inspired to do another one. By the way, I'll pause right now to let you know, next Monday is going to be our product driven Q&A with Steve Burns and Sam. So that's going to be a really great call to really dive into really specific questions around products. But let's do this question from Marion. Do we have a way to share a health survey that is compliant for new customers or social business partners, so individuals realize their progress they're making as they start using our comprehensive nutritional products? As individuals, we can start enjoying well-being and forget how far we've come. So, developing some type of survey like that. So Bill and Kristi, I'll let you guys both tackle that.
Bill, you want to go first?
Oh, sure. Yes, we had one actually in the past. It's been several years, and our product line changed dramatically, so it's not really appropriate anymore. And I've been talking about doing the next one. Unfortunately, the product line continued to evolve, and we were waiting for the targeted health stack. I mean, that was really the big one. And it honestly took quite a while to get the targeted health stack. The OptiPack was kind of the pivotal product in that mix. So until we could get the OptiPack, we couldn't do the whole system. So ever since we've been on the line now with the targeted health stack, we've been working on that. What we want to do, though, is the one in the past was a form that you kind of had to fill out, and it was kind of old school, and it was, you had to get your crayons out and circle some things, and it wasn't quite as up to date as things are today. So what we're doing is we're putting it, we're going to make it digital. So that's what is doing some type of a system that will allow you to come in, find your targeted health product by answering some questions, be led to it. You, of course, are always free to choose whichever one you want, but we'll give you some suggestions on what your targeted health might be, what that product might be, and then give you the opportunity to save those results and revisit them. Because we also notice that over time, your target may change. As you lose weight or as you get better health and you're more active, maybe you want to change that targeted product. So we want to give you that opportunity, but that's going to take some programming. It's going to take some time. It is in our mix with our dev team, but our dev team, as you know, is always overworked and always working on such wonderful, huge projects for us. That's not one of the top priorities, but it is on the list, and I continue to bring it up to them. And we are still working to make it happen. So yes, it is coming, and I'm very excited about it. It's one of my favorite projects that we're going to be rolling out.
Nice. Kristi, would you like to add to that? I know you've done a lot with the targeting and teaching how to build customers. So how would you like to add to that?
I think the biggest thing is using it until we have something more concrete as an opportunity to build relationship. For those of you guys that are on here, the bulk of you, if not all of you, are building traditionally, and so by asking those questions, and that question is a really good question to keep in the forefront of your mind, because you really do need to ask people where they are before they get started and where it is they want to go. And then because that's the way we talk about love, list, order, vision, event, that you keep vision in front of somebody that's a customer to keep reminding them of why they got started, and what it is that they're wanting to see happen. And then you can keep asking those questions. My husband always says people are slow to blame or slow to praise and quick to blame. And so definitely having like some kind of where you ask enough questions in the beginning. I remember one time helping somebody, and they were convinced the products weren't working. And I said to them, well, talk me through your day. And what did you do today? And they talked about coming home and getting all this work done and mowing the lawn and blah, 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 and just all these things on their list. I said, what would you usually do? And they said, and it was quiet. Like they almost got themselves. They're like, oh, take a nap. Like, sounds like they're working. And so this is a really important thing that is, as we promise hope to somebody, we deliver by helping them continue to have hope by giving them vision and reminding them of where they were and where they're going.
Nice. Beautiful. Well, Sam, I'm going to ask you a quick question, and then I'm going to ask one that all of you can finish off with. But this one I think is interesting because I think a lot of people don't know this. What type of facility do we own or basically where are the products manufactured, and is it in Dallas? Because I think people don't realize all of our products, how much it takes to make it all come together to get done. It's a big, big undertaking.
Yeah, there's only one product that's not made in Dallas, and that's Limitless. And it's just because the nature of that powder is so hygroscopic. You have to do it in a drier climate. So we do it in Arizona. But everything else is here in Dallas, but it's not all at the same place. We have 3 different vendors here in Dallas that all do different things for us. And so, for instance, we have some topical products, and those are done by, some of you met her, Dr. Takako McGowan. And she also does she owns the patent on the fish oil that gets cyclodextrined. That's her technology that she's given us an exclusive on for what we do. So that's one. We have another vendor that really specializes more in the drinks, and another vendor that specializes more in the capsules and the powders.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, let's go in the order of Bill, Kristi, Sam to wrap up today's call with this question. It's the same one, so you guys can build upon each other, or you can answer any way you want, and you can answer in Japanese if you're fluent. So what would you say to someone watching tonight who loves the products and the mission, but is still uncertain about becoming a social business partner?
Oh my goodness.
My goal has been to stump you guys.
Yeah, well, it's a wonderful question. It's something that I'm sure everyone's asking if they're out there sharing. But it's also a very loaded question. There's so many answers, I think is part of the problem I'm thinking, but I'll just start off with one and leave the others for the other two. It's just the timing again, for getting involved in something that requires only your passion, really. You don't have to have a lot of money, you don't have to have a lot of experience, all of these things. It's really your passion for what you're wanting to communicate with people. And this company allows it, it gives you that opportunity. And companies like this don't come around every day. And especially a company that's at a growth point that we are, where you're coming in, where the question earlier, where they said, what do I do if I'm the first in my community or first in my area? What a great opportunity. You're not stumbling over people selling the same thing you are or talking about the same things you are. It's a wide open field. And I just think that, if someone's thinking about it and someone's considering or, taking on the mantle of becoming an SVP and saying, okay, I'm going to be a part of this and share this opportunity, it's a wide open opportunity. And there's so many things to be passionate about, whether it's the kids, the products, the health, the money that you're able to earn, that it's unlimited. I think that it's just the time, it's now, come in now, be an SVP. You will never want it as a bad decision, especially if, like Kristi always says, and she's so fantastic with this, if, do it, consistency, momentum, it just don't stop. Whatever you do, just don't stop. So I guess that's my quick answer.
Nice. Beautiful. Kristi, where would you go with that?
I think the biggest thing is defining why you would start to begin with. That's really important because, for one, really, if it's the mission, if it's helping people, if it's sharing our products, you actually don't have to be a social business partner to do that. You could do that as a customer. You could do that but so typically when someone's saying yes to being a social business partner, they're wanting to earn some income and build teams of teams, because there's no additional value to being a social business partner. It doesn't change your discount level, it doesn't change anything. So it's making the decision of why before you even start. And then once you decide why, also really thinking about what could stop me. Like, what could it be that would trip me up or cause me to not be consistent or to back down on that reason for starting. And when we identify that in advance, we can make sure it doesn't happen. But it's defining that why first and then being patient and consistent and making the decision knowing that the only way, what I love about what we do is the only way you earn income is if you help somebody else. It's the purest of hearts. Like, you have to lead with love in the center of everything you do. And like Craig, you and I have been talking about, we measure our ripple, the impact that we're making, and it is the ripple that is nourishing kids around the world, but your ripple also doesn't grow if you're not nourishing the people in your neighborhood, at your church, in your family, in the places that you have influence. So it's just such a powerful thing to be a part of. And you get to decide the speed at which you grow. But the decision is making a decision to start.
Oh, beautiful. That's a great way to go with that. And Sam, you got to finish off with this. So somebody who's loving the idea of the products or the mission, but still uncertain about becoming a social business partner, what would you invite them to say?
Yeah, I think I would first of all share my passion for it. Social Business 3.0 is a platform that allows people of any background to participate and prosper from the sharing of ideas that can change the world by building teams and teams of teams for the rapid circulation of those technologies. So what I would do is say, listen, this is why I'm so passionate about this movement. You know, I want my life to account for more than just a paycheck. I want a legacy, you know, associated with the things that I do, but I can't do it by myself. You know, I'm looking for team members that will join me in this effort. I would invite people that you want to work with to join you in the mission. And do it from that perspective of love and passion, not just the pure business side of it. I mean, they're going to tell you if they would like to share in the business, but your invitation to them is, listen, I will pour my life into you if you will be a part of this team. We can do this together. But I would give them the big picture of what is life like to be a social entrepreneur? What is the legacy that we can leave together, and invite them to participate in that.
Well, Sam, I'm officially ready to sign up tonight, so I'm ready to go. If you could send me your link, I'm ready to sign up.
I'm going to cross-line you from...
That is funny. Look, everybody, I hope everybody had some good times with this call, because it is meant to be fun, but it's also meant to be extremely educational. And you really get to see the leadership behind this company, you know, just really, quite honestly, how authentic and just real everybody is. That's what I love about it, not only from Sam and Linda, but all the way to Bill and Kristi and other great people that are working with the corporate team. So thank you, everybody. And we have our next call. We have our Saturday call. That's going to be we're continually building on our call leading up to our big event. And so that's even for guests. If you want to learn how we train people, join us Saturday at 10 o'clock at Central Time. And then next Monday, we're going to do the open Q&A, but really dive into the product side of it. So if you have customers that want to learn more, dive into that call. So Sam, Bill, and Kristi, thank you very much, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Craig.
Good night, everyone.